Hi everyone, Jeanette Biro here. I'm a medium and a channeler. And I had a great question and I loved the way that it was asked. And essentially it was, how does a mediumship reading work? Now, not the normal answer of like how mediumship readings can work, but it was more, they were curious about what does it look like for me? What's going on in my head when spirit is coming through to communicate? What is that view like? And I thought that was a great question, and it made me smile, and it also made me think like, wow, yeah, it's an insight into someone's journey. Now, I want to say that what I share is really, truly my experience as a medium, and that doesn't mean that's the way it works for every medium, because truly every medium works differently. They really do. There can be similar things, but it's really different to each one. So I'll take you through my process a little bit so that if you're ever doing a reading with me or have had one, this is what's going on behind the scenes of what you're seeing when my eyes are closed or if I'm staring off looking at something. So when I open up into a reading, when I go into that space after I've explained how it works to people, I close my eyes and I go into this space kind of within. And when I go within, then it's like something else starts to open up. So I go in to essentially access more. And what starts to open up as I ground my energy in and kind of connect in all ways, I just feel everything expand beyond normal me. I start to have, as I'm saying kind of my entry mantra, prayer, whatever you would call it, I start to have these pinpricks of light that come forward. And essentially that's spirit. Spirit comes through as this like pinprick of light. And as I focus and greet each one, I'm like, hi, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. It's really what I'm saying. When they come forward, they start to get brighter. Sometimes they'll change color. Sometimes they'll actually come right into my field of view as an image of either who they are or an outline or a shadow outline of who they were. And shadows aren't anything negative for me. If I see something as a black outline or a shadow, that's just them trying to show their form. And so they'll usually manifest that way. And once I say hello or I greet them is when we make that link in frequency. I know we've created that link in frequency, like when you tune a radio and it links and you hear the music. Once I greet them and they come forward, we link. And it's in that moment that information starts coming to me. And sometimes I start to see images of things, events, objects, a date on a calendar, something like that. It can come in imagery as well as knowing. So I'll have almost this energetic knowing swoop in with an image. They kind of like arrive at the same time. And my job in that moment is to give what I get, right? So sometimes I'm giving the explanation of something and it's very basic. I'm like, I'm seeing ballet shoes with the feeling of triumph, say, right? And so I'll share that. And the reason is the more that I share, it kind of like makes room for the next bit of information to come in. So I just keep sharing and more comes in. And eventually we build this big picture. And so it's quite funny. And as I start doing that, the more that I do that, the bigger the space for what comes in is. And this is when we start to get humor and jokes and storylines and much more color to the way the spirit is presenting things. And so at that point, and this usually happens quite quickly, at that point, we have this beautiful flow between me, spirit, and whoever has come to have a reading. And that's when the information just starts going and opening as if we were meeting all up together, having tea and sharing in conversation. And that's pretty much how it happens. And so from that point of view, I will start my reading with my eyes closed for about a minute or two. And then after that, it's like my consciousness is open to watching another world play out or seeing it out front with my eyes. But I'm harmonized to that higher frequency where all of that happening is okay. So the world really opens up in color, in activity during a reading. For me, it's quite neat. Now, that opening in that reading situation is very comfortable. And it's fun to me. I enjoy it. I learn something every time, but I have to be sure that I close that down before I go out to the grocery store to pick up my kids. Because if I stayed that open when I go out, then I'm that open to everyone that I interact with, which would be crazy overwhelming. So there's always, after reading, time where I have to come back down, bring it all back in, that expansion that I had. I have to bring it all back in, back into center, and then come back to how I am today as I'm talking to you right now. So that's a little background into what a reading is like for me. Because of all the energy exchange, because I expand outward and all these different spirits and energies come in, that's a big energetic expenditure after a reading. So I find after every reading I have to kind of have some water, have something to eat, ground my energy, and rebalance what occurred. It's kind of like every reading would be like doing a workout, right? After your workout you need to rehydrate, catch your breath, that kind of thing, and carry on with your day. So there's a little insight into me. Thank you for asking that question. It was neat to bring it through and express it. So if any of you are feeling that call to mediumship, feeling like you have that within you, I hope this helps make you feel maybe a little bit more normal if you're questioning what the heck's going on. And do remember that every medium, every person that communicates with spirit does so in their own unique way. So honor the way that it is for you and let it continue to blossom and show you how you make that connection. It's a beautiful thing. So I'll leave that with you guys. Do check out avalonspirit.com if you're looking to deepen your practice into mediumship, and I'll be back again soon.